TED Talk by Patrick Chapati, the cartoonist, European cartoonist.
No, I'll check that out. I like the cartoonist. I know that cartoonist. He is syndicated by the International Herald Tribune.
Okay.
He is the a cartoonist for Herald Tribune. You can find it in his site. I go through the site. There is a political cartoon site. So there we have this cartoon by Patrick Chapati. He's a very sophisticated, but he brings it out in a very, very simple manner. A lot of thought goes into it. Wonderful.
Yeah, his videos, his TikTok is also...
He is good, really good.
One of my friends by the name Ravi Handa, he wants to know, how do you manage the one idea a day phenomenon? Do you have a database of generic cartoons which can be used in a day when inspiration is not striking? Like he says, Rahman, he has heard that Rahman has maybe a database of tunes when he doesn't find inspiration in some of them. Do you...
In art it's okay, but in cartooning is very specific. It is so specific that you can't afford to be broad based.
Okay.
It is very specific to that particular day, or maybe if the event is going on for a week, then it may stay for 2-3 days, but beyond that it does not work.
So how do you combat monotony? How do you manage to keep your cartoons fresh?
We try to keep it fresh. In a sense, the events, see, for example, in 10 or 20 years, you see that the events keep repeating. That is, you say, it's like a deja vu, you think, okay, this has already happened. But then you're thinking, you come back to the same kind of visual. So in that case, you try to be innovative. You have to push a present day visual language and extend it further. So that's what you do to become innovative, and you have to introduce some freshness into it.
Okay. I thought it wants to know, where do you get your inspiration for your cartoons?
When reading, perhaps that is the main thing. When reading, sometimes it will be working on the subconscious. You do not know. You've been reading on that, you will just abandon it, saying that, okay, no idea for the day and that kind of thing, and you switch it off. But then there is something which goes on, and you find something so not connected with the issue, and suddenly you link it up with that. We do not know from where this spark comes from, but we have to rely on that. I cannot confidently say when you go to the office that you're going to get an idea today, and it doesn't work saying that I am going to do a cartoon on this. It does not work that way. You just go on reading the news, something inspires you, and you get to know what you say. The rest is automatic. And I mean, how to put it into visual language is the rest of the work. But that is only 15% of the work.
Okay.
The most important thing is what you want to say. Because that is where your entire concept of cartooning comes in.
And Small Town Sri wants to know how many times you get the will you draw me request. Have people come to and ask will you draw me in your cartoons, or how is it?
Usually it happens during this college, Rotary Club functions, IITs and all this. Where you go to sketch, where you go, that's for a talk. They say, okay, sketch me, do something about this club, and it doesn't work that way. I usually wriggle out of it because there's so many 20-30 people. As you start sketching, it'll be the whole day. I mean, that's not the idea. Usually sketching is done when the person is not conscious that he's being sketched. We have also done a lot of sketching of people. We go to this, Congress sessions, BJP sessions, the Communist parties, sessions and all that. You go there, you sketch. But the thing is, you get the atmosphere, like the personality. You watch them, observe them, how they talk and all that. But when it comes to this, very consciously, if they ask, draw me, it becomes a problem. You don't get the character of the person. It will just be a likeness of it. That's how it is. But usually I wriggle out of it. If I start drawing you, others may ask, and it will go on and on. But sometimes you may have to oblige. If it's foreign areas where you go, people sit down and say, draw me, you can't, you know.
At least what I said.
Once it happened, but usually, no, the thing is it doesn't work.
In other forms of expression, cartooning has also transitioned from scarcity to abundance.
Yeah.
Is that true or false? What's your take on it?
Yeah, at
Has
once.
Cartoons exploded.
Exploded in the sense the advent of animation has changed things. In the sense, see, in Japan we have this concept called manga. People are so crazy about these comics, but that kind of attraction to comics has not taken off in India. We don't have strip cartoons, that is, people who live on strip cartoons. We don't have that kind of ideas. Now, the concept of cartooning has changed because there are so many websites and each person is blogging. Each person has his own blog. He does his own cartoons and puts it up on the blog. There are so many people on Twitter who just send links. Say, I've done a cartoon on this. The ideas are good, but nobody wants to go the hard way, learn the craft as such, because the language of cartooning is drawing. Just like you have to be comfortable with the language for a writer, the language is important.
Lovesri from Twitter wants to know, like other forms of expression, cartooning has also transitioned from scarcity to abundance. Is it true or false? What's your take on it?
Scarcity to abundance is right. There has been a explosion of cartoons, not in the political sense at least, but cartooning generally there is an awareness and many people are into this. Many people give out their ideas on their blogs or websites, and it has taken off. And another thing is the animation field. Many people are into animation. So this has given the cartooning field an added advantage. But the point is, as far as political cartoon is concerned, this is a very rare art because, as Lakshman would say, I would quote Lakshman again in this sense, because he says, you have to have three qualifications or something like that which you necessarily need. One is a sense of history and good drawing skills and a sense of humor. It's a very rare combination. One might have one in the plus or minus, but generally these three are necessary. But these three put together, if a person can work on it, I would call cartooning, political cartooning as in one-day cricket, the slog overs comes later, the last 10 overs. But in political cartooning, it comes earlier. You have to work really hard in the first 10 years. It almost takes 10-15 years to groom a cartoonist. It's not so easy. And you may not believe that you're a cartoonist. You have to go on and on. And you have to put all your effort into it. It's a lot of hard work in the first beginning years. But then you get, you get the trend, you get the hang of it, you go on. But your very strength, your asset will remain your sustainability. That is, you're in this profession, you pull on, that is your asset. Okay. So you have to adapt to situations, you adapt to new surroundings, new environment, new visuals, cliches. You have to keep track of what is happening. For example, we have a lot of difference between our generation and now the present generation. There is so much of social activity, Facebook, Twitter and all. If you don't, you're out of it, you lose the lingo. Because they understand something, we have to talk in their language. So you have to keep yourself updated. That's very, very important. So this, as I said, there is an explosion, and I think it is good. Maybe they are not good in their drawing skills, they don't give that much importance. If they give that also, it would be nice.
Thank you. Apart from cartoons and paintings, do you have any other hobbies? Do you read?
This is all a circle. That is reading, listening to music. For example, your drawing is better your painting is better if there is a good music on. I think that's particularly classical music or any soft rock or Western classical, or I don't mind any music as long as you're out of the world. You're totally immersed in what you're doing. So music can give you that added.
Just extra questions. If you have to recommend 5 books, what are the books that you would recommend?
5 sketching books. That's the best.
Not just sketching. It can be anything. It can be from any field.
The thing is, you keep following cartoons. On cartoons, you mean?
No, just generally. Any 5 books that you would recommend for reading?
Number 1, I would suggest Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
And just today, somebody reminded me Animal Farm. Orson Welles. It's a classic. And these things where, all people would have read about that. So it's better that you read and communicate. You need the same kind of standard. Alice in Wonderland, everybody would have read. Animal Farm, everybody would have read. And plus the Greek and the Hercules and all those Greek mythology stories, Scandinavian mythology or Indian mythology, Panchatantra. There's a lot of things. But then you go on. Nowadays it is a digital world. So you have to go further. So New Yorker, particularly New Yorker, the kind of visual language they use, it has changed. And the New Yorker, there will be only 2 words, and there will be a big visual. And many people, they miss the fun in it. But once you get it, you will never forget it. That is they'll make you think, they'll make you see. The reader is very ruthless, as I would say. They give you hardly 2 seconds or 3 seconds. If it doesn't reach the brain, you just flip it over. They don't bother to say what's this. I don't understand. It goes over my head, so it's gone. So you lost the reader. So the thing is, within that 2 seconds or 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, if you can grasp the attention of the reader, that is half the success.
Okay.
So the thing is, your aim should be to capitalize on those 2-3 seconds.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for spending your time today.
Thank you so much. I hope it's been useful.
Yes, definitely.